All right, we are live. I'm getting a little bit better at trying to coordinate this a little bit. I already had the Twitter page preloaded to put the We Are Live out there. So just put that link out. Just going to start today. Just going to review a couple things today. So as we know, the SPY yesterday was a huge red bar, and today. Tonight, weren't all the futures kind of down, and by this morning everything was green. I think I remember saying, tweeting that out and being like, "Wow, like yowza!" Like everything was green, and so we gapped up today, and then SPY ended up going inside bar today, right? And so ended up getting a little bit of a rally, and I think it's a lot of people kind of suspect this happens when you have when you're in a corrective phase or a big downtrend, is you expect there to be like a bit of a rally, so it gets people kind of in and it's like, oh, everything's great, and then the next day, douche, and it's like you almost could have seen that Amazon was going to go down the way it did today. I just want to kind of flash forward to that just to look at it. I mean, it's pretty amazing, right? I mean, so if you look at it, it's tempting to think that it's going to keep going up. It hit the 200-day yesterday on that large, that huge 121 point bar yesterday. And then, gapped up today, and really, if you look at the hourlies, I mean, Amazon today was just, rocking. The only thing, I really couldn't trade it because, there wasn't a lot of compelling, volume or anything like that. It just like was kind of going up, and then, you'd think after all that, going up that like, hey, it's just going to continue in earning, it's going to be awesome, and that's where the market trips you up, So when you look at, the overall market weakness, and, I think even if Amazon did have good earnings, it probably still would have faded back in just like Netflix just did, right? They supposedly crushed on earnings, and they faded all back in. So now, big Amazon, got rocked. I mean, we're down 140 points right now, after hours. So we'll see what it does in the morning. It'll certainly be interesting to watch. I would have to think, there's going to be more sellers, right? They're going to, people are going to maybe dump some shares or whatever the case is. And we'll see. It'll be really interesting. I think eventually there'll be a reversal on it. But to say exactly where that's going to be is going to be challenging. So let's see, it's at 1650 right now. So it's just under the 200-day after hours. So it's retesting those lows. I mean, does it drop all the way to this 1560 area for the 250-day and then reverse, or are we just truly in a starts of a bear market, so where every rally could be shorted? That would be fun. So that's really interesting. Anyway, enough of that. It still would have been cool to have been able to, I don't know, have like 1,000 shares short of Amazon into earnings and be up, 117 grand tonight. That would be pretty sweet. But to be able to buy 1,000 shares of Amazon. Anyway, one of these days. So what I kind of wanted to talk about today is I just wanted to start with NVDA. NVDA was the one trade, and where I think I tweeted this morning that this was a rule breaker, right? And the reason is, NVIDIA's, oops, sorry, that's Netflix. NVIDIA's been getting crushed, right? It's and we've looked at it consistently here. I mean, the monthly is just, after it broke that hammer bar, the tail of that, right? It's just been a consistent downtrend all month. The weeks have just been red. The ADX here confirming, downtrend movement, right? And it's been, just getting pummeled here, right? It's been under the 200-day more than anything else out of the big FANG stocks. And so, it's red here, kind of pause, gap down, pause, huge red bar yesterday. And then, of course, everything else was gapping down yesterday, or a bunch of stuff was gapping down, in particular, AMD, right? And this is what I wanted to talk about tonight. This is these kind of things, I'm just really just kind of forming, a stronger knowledge of this and being able to kind of pick up on this stuff. And that's the key with being able to understand your risk so you can stay in the game. Like one of the things I've tweeted recently was, I'd rather trade to live another day, right? Or trade to make a living instead of trade to make a killing, right? So if you trade to make a living, you're going to live to trade another day. If you trade to make a killing, you've got a chance of, getting kilted, right? So So AMD missed on earnings pretty big, right? Gap down huge, and NVDA was gapping down in sympathy, right? Because it's one of those kind of chip stock type things. And so the market was kind of, the whole market was gapping up this morning, and NVIDIA was still gapping down, right? But yeah, it's been getting beat up and all that stuff, but it's still tradable, right? I mean, it still has high volume and all that stuff, so it's not just getting beaten for no reason. So it gapped down in sympathy with AMD. And so what that means is that if the market, the scenario is if the market is going to rally, if there's going to be a rally point, and we look at our future indicators, the Swift charts, and to see which way the futures are pointing, and if the market's going up and it looks like there's going to be a rally opportunity, then I'm sorry, the spark charts, and then and the market's going to rally, we want to go in the direction of the market, right? We don't want to fight it. And so in a situation like this, what you do is you look for when it reclaims the prior day's lows, right? And so it can be a very consistent trade. And so the way it worked this morning is it attempted it, I think the first time. I saw this before I was going into my meeting this morning. It attempted it the first time, right? And then failed. I mean, it was pretty decent. I mean, it had like a decent little move, and then came back in and closed. And then guess what it did? Inside 60-minute bar, right? Over the VWAP. And I even tweeted this. I was like, I said, look at NVIDIA here. It looks good, right? And at that point, you can get an entry over here. And if you look at options, I think around this time, like I had tweeted this morning the 220s looked interesting at 70 cents, and I thought that they would double, if we reclaimed half the range. Well, this morning they opened at like 30 cents, and then they went all the way down to 10 cents, and you could have got some there and ended up getting a triple today. But if you just got over this one, I think they were like trading around 20, and then I think they ended up going. Let's see where the 220s ended up today. Of course, you have theta because theta burned because yesterday or tomorrow's Friday. But yeah, 220. So yeah, ended up hitting a high of 50 cents at one point today. So definitely a double at one point. So probably when there was like a nice big push, some momentum up. So yeah, so that's NVIDIA. So if that makes sense, anytime like you see a stock that's gapping in sympathy with another stock, is a good chance to play like to trade something like this. Now, it's against my initial rules, but those are kind of rule breaker ones, like the double inside days, extenuating circumstances like this, right? And so I wanted to give you another example, and it's funny, I have an IRA account that I trade in too, and in the IRA account I only trade like the absolute 100% best setups, and it's funny because I've since I started trading it a few months ago, I've tripled the IRA account, and in the day trading account I just go for like cash flow each day. But it's so funny. It's like if I could have tripled my day trading account, who cares about the cash flow? I'd be doing pretty good, right? And but you just go for cash flow. You want to pay bills and all that stuff. So, but when you get news like AMD, and when was this? Let's see when this was. Here, see that gap? See that gap right there? This was back on August 21st. So this was a few months ago. But the reason that this was gapping down, see, it's not earnings. Earnings is over here. The reason it was like the ridiculous thing was I was reading the news, and that's why that Seeking Alpha I tweet out every morning. I was just reading through there, and it was like the news was JP Morgan was coming up with some sort of discount brokerage fees for retail clients. And so Ameritrade was gapping down, E-Trade was gapping down, and Charles Schwab was gapping down. And I was like, okay, but I don't think that's really going to hurt their business, right? I mean, it was just gapping down because a competitor was doing something. But I'm like, I'm not going to cancel my Ameritrade account just to go to Schwab because they're charging a little bit less in commission, because you got to move your money around and all that stuff. It's pain, right? So I was like, this gap is going to get filled, was my whole idea. And so these type of gaps where it's gapping down, there's no negative news on AMT. It was just gapping down because a competitor had some innovation, right? And so I believe at some point this day, let's see, it opened here and came down somewhere around here. I don't know. I just loaded up on calls, and I think it was, let's see, the gap was filled here at 60. I think I got 60 calls, and I did like 2 weeks out or something like that, because I was like, it'll definitely fill it within a couple days, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days it filled, and yeah, I ended up like, I mean, I didn't bet my whole account or anything like that. I think I did like 20% of my account, and ended up, you know, having a really good trade out of that. And so that's where there's those type of situations where things gap in sympathy with something else, especially like a name like NVDA, right, that'll move. You know, an AMD was getting knocked down, so NVIDIA gapped down in sympathy, and then as soon as it reclaimed that range, I mean, even if you held and gave it an opportunity, but you know, these markets, even in these down markets, you're still going to get these little rallies that, you know, that get people in, and you can profit from it, right? I mean, they're not like reaching all the way back up to new highs, you know, overnight, but it's still a good trade, and you can make, so there's money to be made out there even when the market's a little bit confusing and things are chopping around. So you just have to kind of know where to look, and like that just is growing your intuition, and that's what I've been starting to be able to do a little bit better. So is that, and like that AMTD, that was a friend of mine actually kind of pointed it out to me when I was reading. I was like, why is that gapping down, you know? And you know, and he's like, basically, you know, I ended up looking it up or whatever the case was, and it was because, you know, because the competitor was doing something. So it's kind of interesting, you know. Now, if someone gets Amazon, that's a little bit different, right? You know, if like, you know, Amazon is competing, right? Like that was one, Cisco, that was like a triple inside day. And I don't know if you guys really want me to get into that right now, but this was one of those triple inside days. What was that? Way back here. I can't remember the exact day. Anyway, it was a triple inside day, and they got Amazoned, right? Because Amazon was going to get into, you know, the Cisco business, like the networking router business or something. Here we go. It was like right here. And it was like a triple inside day. And it ended up, that triple inside day broke after hours when Amazon finally said that they're not going to be doing that business. So it was an after hours break, but it was pretty solid. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much what I want to go over today. Obviously, Amazon's way down. You know, definitely worth watching tomorrow. A bunch of stuff is gapping down too. Like Netflix is gapping down. Pretty crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what tomorrow brings. I don't know if it's going to bring in some more bears, and we're going to see like a big red bar tomorrow because it's Friday, right? So we'll see what they do. So always be careful on Friday with you know, option expiration, things like that. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know how confident people are going to be, you know, holding anything into the weekend either, right? So you always got to think about that. Would you want to hold something into the weekend with the market kind of going down like it is? So that's another reason for it to potentially be down further tomorrow. Yeah, and Amazon and Google missing and being down doesn't really help, you know, overall sentiment. So, you know me, I'm going to watch there's no real major setups for me on the 60s. Everything was red. Now just about everything's gapping down. I'll check out some Dow stocks tonight, see if anything looks pretty strong. And but for the most part, I'll just be looking at the 60s, see if anything sets up if I have time during the day tomorrow. So that's pretty much all I got for tonight. If anybody's got any questions or wants me to pull up a chart, I'm happy to do that. And, you know, answer any questions you might have, or just anything about trading or ideas, or, you know, anything you want to throw out in the chat box, feel free, and I'll pull up a chart and take a look at it, and just kind of give you my look at it, and maybe you know, help you see something. I know you guys, when you guys put stuff out there too, it helps me look at other things too, and that's always helpful as well. Like, because I looked at, what was it, Bank of America? Yeah, I wanted to look at Boeing today. I never really got a chance to. Julian had that idea yesterday. Yeah, ended up having a pretty good day too today. So yeah, off the remember it was off the 200 day, up, you know, on earnings, filled the gap, and then it had a pretty strong day today too, obviously. So that would have been a good trade. 10-point move today on Boeing. So yeah, so we all get ideas off of each other, definitely. Anytime anybody has any questions about, like, I don't know, how to size a trade, you know, things like that, I'm always happy to answer that. You know, today one thing I was kind of tweeting. I was like, there's a couple good trades today. Like NVIDIA was good. Facebook had an okay move. I really wanted Walmart to go today, but Walmart's a tough stock to trade. Like, I mean, it's pushing, right? I mean, it's pushing. I mean, it totally reclaimed that bar that came in yesterday. So you got to give it some credit. So I mean, it's definitely set up to break out, at some point. But it's just the way Walmart trades. So, but yesterday was a good trade on it when it broke here. I mean, you can see that bar. It was from here to here, no doubt. But here again, it reclaimed yesterday's bar and completely went through it. So I mean, for a $2 move on Walmart, that's pretty good in a day to anticipate it. And that's just straight trading candlesticks, I think IQ today looked interesting on the hourlies. Yeah, never quite happened. That was okay. There's a little bit of a move on it, but not too much. And let's see how Twitter did because they had earnings. Yeah, just kind of, I mean, it was a good 30-40 cent move. Can't remember, I think it was at least 30 cents there off of that inside 60 down under the VWAP. Put in a hammer and then got no power. I mean, there's just no volume at the end of the day today. And that's what I was saying. There's just a lot of chop because the market was waiting on Amazon and Google, right? I mean, as soon as they reported, boom, now look at futures are down, right? So, and Amazon's going to be gapping down crazy. So it'll definitely be an interesting day tomorrow. And it's Friday, so that's a good thing. So if nobody has any questions or any chart requests, I'll close up here early. I appreciate everybody jumping in and listening. I hope some of the ideas I put out there are helpful, like the NVDA, reclaiming yesterday's range and Ameritrade. Just when you see something that's gapping in sympathy, you could look for a good setup there. Or if you see something gapping on just for no reason, like for news, but reason that you just know is not going to affect the stock. I mean, that's money right there. It's free money. So definitely stuff to look at in the future. And anytime I see something like that, I'll put it on Twitter in the future. So, so folks can see it, so we can all benefit each other. Awesome. Well, appreciate everybody for watching tonight, and have a great night. One more trading day left, and I will see you Sunday night because I only do these videos on market nights, right? So Friday night, there's no market open on Saturday, so I will see you guys Sunday. Have a good night, and good luck tomorrow.